Hotshots, Jess with Emotional Fire Academy, here today to talk about 5 concrete ways to receive more love as a highly sensitive person. Welcome to Emotional Fire Academy. This is my channel. Subscribe if you are a highly sensitive person ready to up-level your life. Take it to the next step this year. I know you can do it in 2021. And I'm here to support you with weekly videos that include tips, tricks, and tools to do just that. This is Love Month. It's February. I'll be covering a lot of topics on love and relationships. And so today we're going to talk about receiving love. So a big thank you to Robots for Dancing, one of our viewers who submitted this suggestion, and I was happy to make it. So if you do have a highly sensitive topic that you would like covered or would like to see me give more information about, drop it in the comments. I would love to hear from you and make that video for you. So, and who am I? I'm Jess. I am your driver operator on this journey. I am a former firefighter and master NLP practitioner. Welcome. So, we're going to go to the emotional fire triangle today, because when we talk about receiving love, if somebody has a problem receiving love, it essentially has to do with belief. And believing is receiving. If you take nothing else away from this video, I want you to take this away. Believing is receiving. Because when we don't believe something, we're not going to receive it. We're not going to put that piece of evidence in our pile, counting towards our belief. And what really is a belief? A belief is a thought that we have practiced enough that we consider truth. Right? These are the 3 things that contribute to emotion: your language, your conditioning, your physiology. When we've thought a thought or spoken a thought enough, we've turned it into our truth, quote unquote, it's now in the realm of conditioning. It's a belief. And so what's really happening when we're not receiving love very well, either from ourselves, we're trying to receive love from ourselves, it's just not sticking, or we're trying to receive love from someone else, from maybe a partner, a friend, a family member, and it's just not sticking. What typically tends to happen is where the problem is really lying in the conditioning. And when we are wanting to believe 2 different things, like we want to believe we're loved, and we want to believe, but we don't believe we're loved. So we have these 2 competing beliefs. And usually in our conditioning, we've practiced both of them. There are times in our life when we've added evidence to the story, I'm loved. It's kind of like a pile of rocks. We've put a rock on this pile and it's grown. We've also, during our life, put rocks on the evidence pile of I'm not loved. We've have times where we've interpreted situations and we feel not loved. So these 2 piles of rocks are really competing with each other. And so when somebody is trying to give us love and we're just not receiving it, or we're trying to give love to ourselves, it's because the problem is that whatever just occurred that we perceive as outside of us, or that we've done in order to add evidence, one pile is more activated. And typically it's the pile of, I'm not loved. I'm not feeling loved. I don't feel the love. And so that piece of evidence that we could be adding to the other pile of I am loved, we just kind of ignore it, right? Because believing is receiving. When we get that piece of evidence, we then want to add it to the pile of I am loved, and keep adding to that pile. And eventually the other pile is going to become less and less. So this is essentially what's going on. You may only have one pile. You may only have one story of I am not loved. That could be really, really active in your conditioning, and you keep adding evidence to that pile and it keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. That's when we really want to look at, okay, I've been neglecting this pile. Maybe there's not even a pile there yet. There's nothing. It's flat ground. It's okay. We can always start adding evidence. We can start adding evidence to that pile, adding each stone by stone, thought by thought, compliment by compliment, and start adding that pile up. So if you are someone who finds it difficult to receive love, I used to be one of these people too, as a highly sensitive person. I totally understand. I am not judging you. It's just a matter of practice. That's all. That's all you have to do is practice adding stones to the pile, and the stones are evidence, and then the piles will start to grow in different ways. This one will get smaller as this one gets bigger. So that's really what we want to focus on, and we're priming, in doing that, in adding more evidence to one pile of I am loved instead of I'm not loved, or I can't feel love, or I don't receive love. We want to add to the pile of I feel love all the time. I am so loved. I constantly feel loved. We're adding to that pile. It's going to get bigger and bigger. We're priming our pump as well, right? We're priming our pump. We're conditioning ourselves. We're reconditioning ourselves to be more intentional about adding evidence to whatever pile we want. And when we do that, we're priming ourselves so that when we do have something from the outside world occur to us, we're going to be primed and ready because this pile is bigger. We're going to add it to that pile instead of the little pile that we're trying to diminish of I don't feel loved, I'm not appreciated. That smaller pile is going to get smaller and smaller because we've primed ourselves, we conditioned ourselves to receive love. Like that's what we're doing. We're just practicing. So let's get to the 5 concrete steps that we can actually do. So the first and foremost thing that you want to do if you want to receive more love is commit. Just commit. And this is the power of decision. Decision is the most powerful thing that we have as humans. So inside, when we commit to, I am ready to receive more love. I am great at receiving love. I'm amazing at receiving my own love, the love from others. I feel love constantly. I'm constantly feeling love. You see the quality of those stories, right? That is a commitment. That's a commitment that we want to make. Now that tip alone will carry you through. You don't have to do anything else. Just committing to telling that story. Because when you're committing and like really deciding, that's when you get the best results. When you commit, decide, like no matter what happens, I commit to receiving more love. Like that alone is that's probably the most powerful thing we can do. And then you don't have to worry about anything else. So commit with all of your heart. I am ready to feel loved all the time. I feel loved all the time. Commit to that. So that's the number one thing you can do. What are some other concrete things we can do? We can do mirror work. Number 2, mirror work. There's a reason why everyone talks about mirror work. Because it works. I do this every day. I still do this every day. When I started my self-love journey, I started in the mirror. A minute or 2 every morning. And just a minute or 2, just staring into my own eyes, not doing anything else, not brushing my teeth, not combing my hair, just looking into my own eyes and saying, I love you. I love you. I love you. And really direct eye contact, and connecting with yourself. It is very, very intimate. And this practice is going to really jumpstart your ability to receive love. Because when you do that, and you can start out with a simple phrase, I love you, you're amazing, and then it's going to blossom from there. Because after a while, you might get a little bit bored or stir crazy, and then you're going to add more phrases to it. Like, damn, you look amazing. You are incredible. You're going to add stuff to it to kind of spice it up naturally. And that's what I do. I'm constantly changing what I'm saying and just appreciating myself. And I think a lot of people, when they do look in the mirror, they usually have negative thoughts about themselves. So this is, again, a way that we recondition ourselves to appreciate what we see, to appreciate ourselves, our physiology. And, this is combining everything. This is combining language, speaking to yourself, feeling the feeling. You really want to feel that love for yourself. It's okay the first few times if you don't feel it. If you continue to do it, you're reconditioning yourself and you're going to start feeling that love for yourself. You're going to feel the love in your heart for you because, when you stare deeply into someone's eyes, including your own, we've been conditioned that is a very intimate thing to do. That's a very loving thing to do. And so when you do it to yourself, it's going to activate that conditioning. You're going to start to feel love for yourself. And if you don't feel it, Imagine what it would feel like. Use your imagination. That's a creative power, to use our imagination. So imagine what it would feel like if you really loved yourself, and just practice that. And you keep practicing, and then again, you're activating all three sides, and you're going to have love coming out of the middle as your emotion. So you're priming the pump again. By doing that, you're putting more evidence on your pile of I really love myself, because you're doing, you're not only saying it, you're feeling the love for yourself, and then you're reprogramming your habits, where you actually have a habit where you're actively loving yourself every day or whenever you decide to do it. So mirror work, very, very important, very potent, and that's why everybody talks about it. If you haven't tried it, go ahead and try it today. Number 3. So looking for evidence. So when I talked about the rock piles, we want to start, if you really want to jumpstart your pile of I love myself, I receive love, I receive so much love, the world loves me, my partner loves me, I love me, we're going to look for evidence in unlikely places. So this is attacking this side of the triangle, and then adding the language element into it, and then eventually the physiology. So when we look for love, we're used to receiving love from people, from our pets, from, maybe at work, maybe we get complimented at work or told we're doing a good job. But what about like a plant? What about the sun? These items are also emanating love in their own way. And even the food that we eat, right? When you think about, especially if you eat meat, I like to think about, wow, this chicken gave its life for me. Like, that's love, that's sacrifice, and appreciating that as I'm eating my meal. And so if you want to start adding more evidence to that pile, we're going to look for evidence in really unlikely places, typically with inanimate objects. Like my refrigerator really loves me. It really loves me. Like, all it does is keep my food cold. Like, it keeps my food cold every day. It never stops. That's amazing. That's a lot of love directed towards me from this object. And so you can put a lot of rocks really fast in the pile of I'm really loved when you look in places you don't typically look for love or interpret as love. And it's the meaning that you're putting into it. You're interpreting it as that. Think about your bed. Wow, my bed really supports me. It holds me up every night. It keeps me comfortable. It loves me. And so looking for love in those places, and really if you tap into that appreciation and that gratitude in that, like, wow, I feel so supported by this bed. I feel so supported and loved. You can feel in your body, from a physiological standpoint, that love. You're like, wow, I feel this. I feel the comfort in this. Or even from the sun. I like to do it with the sun. Wow, the sun, you can just close your eyes and feel the warmth on your skin. You can feel that, and be like, wow, this is love. This is the way the sun loves me. And so you're adding more to that pile of I am loved. I'm loved in so many different ways. I'm loved in the actual feeling of support and comfort in my bed, the silkiness of my sheets, the warmth from the sun. Like, those are all forms of love that when we recognize them, we're again, reconditioning ourselves to accept many different forms of love, so that we can then receive more forms of love and be more creative about, like, wow, that is love. Like, that's love too. Like, it's all love. And then you start to see love everywhere and everything feels great. So that's another thing we can do. Look for evidence in unlikely places and appreciate it. The fourth trick I would suggest is what I call the double back. Now, this is when, if you catch yourself in a moment of feeling good, let's say you're going about your day and you feel good. Maybe you just came back from the gym, you're feeling all pumped up and, juicy, and double back. So since you're feeling good in your body, double back and tell yourself a story of like, wow, I'm feeling so loved right now. And just kind of milk that feeling. Milk the feeling of like, reinterpret it as love. Slap that love label on there and just savor the feeling, and so then again, that starts to prime you when you start to feel any type of positive emotion. You're going to interpret it as love. And so again, you're priming your pump to appreciate these more, organic, positive feelings as unconditional love. Like, here's love, it's hitting me, I feel it right now, it's hitting me, I'm in it, and I'm loving it and appreciating it. And so that's a way we can kind of, without, typically we're using language to get to the physiology. This is where we're using the physiology and then tacking the language on secondarily. So that is another great way to recondition yourself, to receive more. And then when you spontaneously feel that way, you're gonna attribute it to love, feeling loved all the time, and have it more and more often. And the last thing I want to point out is similar to spontaneous human combustion, which is, the fire, when all three of the fire elements combine to cause spontaneous combustion. I have spontaneous human love. Unfortunately, there wasn't a synonym close to combustion, but we always look for a reason to feel loved. We want someone to compliment us, or we want, a family member to, tell us something nice, or actually use the words, I love you. But what about spontaneously feeling good for no reason? This is something that we don't practice enough. And when you can do this, it's really powerful. So what you obviously might have to use your imagination a little bit. And this is a great way, again, to be totally prepared to receive love at any moment. When you practice spontaneous human love, and you're doing this for yourself, it's a little gift you give yourself. And so what you're going to do is activate, these three sides. You're just going to pick, for no reason, you're going to pick a time, like maybe right now, and that's taking you out of your conditioning. So we're, getting that side of the triangle. We're going to juice up our language. You're going to be like, I feel really loved right now. I feel so loved right now. Oh my God, I feel so loved. You add the language, and then you're going to feel it in your body. When you practice doing this, spontaneous human love, when you practice doing it, just like somebody spontaneously combusting for no reason, just practice feeling loved for no reason. Again, if the physiological element isn't quite there yet, you can either, imagine something that makes you feel really loved in your imagination. You can, or just imagine what it would feel like to feel really loved in the moment. And in using your imagination, then you actually start to create the physiology. So in doing this, then you're ready. You're ready to you can just do it at the drop of a hat. Spontaneous human love, bam. And so then when something outside of you happens, you're going to get that spontaneous receiving of the love. You're going to be like, oh, there it is. So you're, again, reprogramming yourself to feel it spontaneously, to not need a reason, to not have to wait for something to happen, just to auto-generate your love. Auto-generate it. And again, these are all things that take practice. When you practice them, they become more natural and easy and effortless. So, those are my 5 concrete ways to receive more love. I hope you found them interesting and fascinating. Leave a comment below. Let me know what you thought and which one you're going to try today. And I always respond to all comments I get on my channel, so feel free to share, which one you tried today and how it went. And then if you are somewhat a highly sensitive person who is ready to create more love in your life, more love towards yourself, more love in general, and more success in any area, I would be happy to help you. I have some one-on-one coaching spots opening up, and for my Flammable to Fireproof program, people are having great success with it, and that is a 12-week guided journey to improve whatever area you're looking to improve with some additional support from me. So check that out on my website, emotionalfireacademy.com, and thanks for watching. Have a wonderful, love-filled day. Bye.